What's up, Scoop Nation? Welcome to your very special bonus episode of Game Spook 2019. On our first attempt at recording this year's episode, the scariest thing happened and Tina's microphone was not working. But instead of scrapping the whole episode, I actually went in, did some editing, and added subtitles for when Tina's talking so we can still share the episode with you. So now this is a very special bonus video-only addition to Game Spook 2019. Without further ado, let the fun begin. What's up, everybody? Welcome to IGN Game Spook. I'm your host, Demon Hatefield. Joining me this week is Justin Gravis.
Spook.
Damn Slayburn.
Boo.
And Tina Amini DeVille. Right? Is that right? Did I say Amini DeVille?
Gotta let it roll off the tongue nicely.
This is, of course,
Demon Amini.
This is, of course, IGN's yearly Halloween podcast, where we get together and talk about all the spooky games we've been enjoying lately.
Tell me when we start.
We've already started.
Oh, God, why? That was loud in my ear.
I go, then megaphone.
Oh my gosh.
So, listeners, while Damon is getting his stuff together, you should probably go to watch this in video form because we have a bunch of visual gags today, including our costumes, which you might like.
We have dressed up as Goose Camp counselors.
That's right.
Wait, this is just how I dress.
Yeah, I know. We are...
Just for you.
We are camp counselors at Goose Camp.
Goose Camp.
As
Goose
is
Camp
indicated,
forever.
as is indicated by our t-shirts.
Clark Kent's the mask.
Goose Camp is an anagram of the words Game Scoop. I
Yeah.
know it's a stretch. It's a very, very, very big stretch, but we went all out.
And speaking of anagrams, I've just received some important information that the name Damon Hatfield anagrams to hidden meatloaf.
Whoa. That's the second best kind of meatloaf.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty spooky.
Tina Amini anagrams to I maintain.
Part of the job title, actually.
Really, really good.
Part of the job description.
We were also looking at this terrible Halloween name generator. It's tough to come up with Halloween names for when you have a name like Justin Davis, but Graves is pretty good.
Greatest
Yeah.
So this Halloween name generator is so bad, I put in Game Scoop. It recommended Ricardo O'Skeleton.
And here he is.
It's our son, Ricardo. Enjoy.
Ricardo O'Skeleton.
It's so perfect that his last name is O'Skeleton since he is a skeleton.
But he's an Irish skeleton, maybe?
Yeah. Of the Dublin skeletons.
Okay, we got so many spooky topics to discuss on our podcast this year. We have an important update, some important new information on the controversial topic of snacking while gaming. Mm-hmm. Tina has prepared a ghost story that she's going to guide us through.
A goose story.
That we're going to play. But first,
Some bumps of gooses are.
let's check in with the kids here at Goose Camp. Remember, you can always email us at the email address goosecamp@ign.com. Just like Robert from Florida. You know our kid Robert from Florida.
Hey, campers.
Robert says, after checking out the revised IGN Top 100 Games of All Time, this got me thinking about my top games of all time. Then, since Halloween is on the horizon, it got me thinking of my favorite spooky games. Would love to hear all of your top 3 spooky games. Here's mine. Resident Evil 4, Dead Space, Silent Hill.
Great picks.
Wow.
Good picks.
Those are really good.
Yeah. Top 3.
Silent Hill, just Silent Hill, Silent Hill?
Probably just Silent Hill.
Silent Hill Vanilla?
Yeah.
All right.
I did pick Dead Space 2.
Dead Space also?
Yes.
Okay.
No, 2.
Okay, gotcha.
But you know what? Dead Space as a series in general.
Yeah.
Forgetting that 3 exists. And then Bioshock, I feel like counts.
We talked about this. Yeah. Maybe you weren't on that episode, but yeah.
We debated whether it was a horror game. Do you remember doing that?
No.
It's
Is it a
definitely
horror
I
game?
feel like it's a horror. That's why I put it on my spooky.
It's a spooky game for sure.
Yeah.
Scary.
Yeah.
And then Alan Wake.
Alan
that's
Wake's a really good one.
Flashlight is really good.
Yeah.
Those are good picks. Sam, how about you?
So I'm going to go with the arcade game Chiller for the first one.
I love that game.
Just because it's so disturbing that somebody came up with that game. It's a game where you have...
But like that's the type of game that I would have designed as a kid.
Like, I'm scared about the existence of that game, so... It's a very violent, but...
It's a light gun game.
It's a light gun game, and it's like a bunch of chained up people, and you kill them.
There's a few different scenes, and all you do is
like in a dungeon.
You shoot at things in the scene to make things happen. But there's like people like tied up in torture devices, and you shoot their limbs off and stuff.
Yeah.
and it's really gory.
Very strange. It's just what mind came up with that.
Yeah.
We'll find out. And then
But they complained about Mortal Kombat, not Chiller.
That's a spooky game. Then neither does Chiller. It's just like it scares me that it exists. Yeah, I think so.
It's like the video game version of a snuff film in the 80s.
Yeah. It's like, where did this come from? Who wanted to make this? Who's this for?
Me.
No, Damon, you're not that much of a gore hound. And then you said one of mine already, Resident Evil 4. When we were talking just now, I was thinking of like, what's a game I actually got a little bit uncomfortable playing by myself late at night? That's the only one.
That's the only one. Not like Resident Evil 7.
No.
Not RE2 Remake.
When that lady yells at you a lot in Resident Evil 7, it's pretty disturbing. Don't like that.
Yeah.
But it's like, it is. The thrill of playing Resident Evil 4 and like the coelho, and all that stuff. Like when it all came together, I was like actually scared I was going to lose all of my stuff over and over again.
That's what's scary.
Yeah.
That's
always scary, right? And then I don't have a third.
And you don't have a third. That's the scariest
thing of
all.
Justin
What about
goes.
Control?
It's terrifying.
No, I mean, it's spooky. It won't be terrifying.
Yeah, it is spooky.
I was thinking Prey also for some reason.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Except I didn't play that one.
I was trying to think of
So you
games
can't
that, like,
put it on your list.
Nope.
Damon didn't play it.
there was games that I definitely was scared of when I was a little kid, just because they were just like weird or like, inexplicable or whatever. I don't really recall what they would be though. I just have like flashes of that. Also, here's my third one. Just going to an arcade when you're a kid, because big kids are scary.
Yeah.
They're super scary. And you just told me a story about getting, what was it? You got kicked off of Super Mario Brothers at Chuck E. Cheese?
Showbiz Pizza.
Showbiz Pizza?
What?
Was our Chuck E. Cheese. Yeah. I remember like playing Super Mario Brothers in the arcade version and then some like big kids like sort of like bullying me off of the machine.
Oh.
Well, his quarter was still in there.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
Yeah.
It's not fair. You're right.
Arcades in the 80s, scary.
Well, look at him now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Look at me now. Who's holding the megaphone now? Just top 3 spooky games.
I don't like spooky games.
Oh, wait, so you don't have any?
Bottom
You
three
reject,
spooky
you reject
games.
the question.
I don't know why anyone would make themselves feel that way on purpose. I know sometimes people think it's fun to feel scared.
Have you had
but
to play one for work?
I think it's an awful feeling. No.
You've never even tried playing one
I
single?
don't like spooky games and I don't like spooky movies. I don't watch
I'm
them.
trying to think of like a spooky atmosphere game, but that isn't really scary. Just
I played Resident Evil Remake, and I thought that was very spooky. And actually, what I liked about Resident Evil Remake was it actually toyed with your memories and expectations from the original, like the dogs bursting through the windows in the hallway in the original, and then it sort of like lampshades that and subverts your expectations for how that's going to happen in the remake. And all the stuff with what's her name, Lisa Trevor, but like the new story stuff that it piled on top with like the Crimson Head zombies. So it's
In the last 10 years, you haven't played a single horror game.
No, why would I?
Because you work here and you get assigned it sometimes.
Nah.
well, what about?
But that's not
There
like
was
Dan,
a time in when that would happen.
Dan, you're not assigning things to people that don't want, like actively don't.
I do all the time because like you don't have the choice when you have like strategy guides. You got to have
Well, but
somebody.
that's different than like review, where like
It's
you need
worse.
to assign it
Scary
to.
it is.
Yeah.
They have to spend 50 hours with every game.
We talked about this on the episode. Like, I don't consider BioShock a horror game because you have the power to fight back and turn the odds and turn the tables, and like you have an even chance of winning any outcome. Where in horror games, you're designed to be on the back foot. You never have enough ammunition. You never move quickly enough.
Do you consider
I don't like that feeling of powerlessness.
Do you consider Left 4 Dead a horror game and the zombies?
I haven't played Left 4 Dead.
What about Limbo?
Yeah, there you go. That's a non-spooky atmosphere, dark atmosphere.
It's kind of spooky.
It's supposed to be spooky. Yeah, that's a big spider that kills you.
Supposed to be.
I played Limbo. That
You know,
spider
it's all
scene is
silhouettes.
really creepy.
Yeah.
And I played BioShock.
Stalactites.
It's creepy.
Spiders.
I don't like spookies. It is known.
All right. Well, fair enough. I talk a lot about how much I like Splatterhouse, that whole series, for the same reasons that I like Chiller. I don't think I need to go on anymore about Splatterhouse. But I also love this fairly obscure arcade game called Night Slashers. That's a beat 'em up. And we were just talking at lunch about how beat 'em ups are pretty simple and not actually that fun when you take them away from just like the difficulty of having to pay for them with quarters. They're just pretty mindless. You just walk to the right and mash buttons and everything. So it has to have some sort of conceit to sort of entertain you, which is like what the Simpsons
It used to
game.
be that all the graphics were really good,
Yeah.
and we were little kids, and we're like, "Wow, this looks so cool!" And I
Yeah.
get to play a cartoon in The Simpsons.
Exactly. And Night Slashers is just a horror themed beat 'em up that's pretty gory, where you fight like werewolves and Frankenstein's monster and vampires, and the enemies will like dissolve into big gooey messes and stuff. There's all these cool like pixelated gore effects, which I thought was really fun.
What do you think was the first thing that brought a bunch of monsters together? Because Castlevania does that same
Monster
thing.
Squad.
Is that movie? Was that where that idea?
I mean, that's from the 80s.
Yeah, of course.
But those are all Universal monsters, I think.
Universal Monsters was the first
It's just
cinematic.
funny that there was like a set of Halloween standbys from Universal Studios, and then like suddenly they became like it became a thing to like rip those off and like put them in video games and cartoons and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that's
I
like
have
what Night Slashers is a Japanese game, and that's like every Japanese arcade game from the 80s is ripping off American movies.
Yeah.
I really like looking at this stuff through the lens of my daughter, who is 5, because she likes to read these nonfiction books, and we're reading books about ancient Egypt and tombs and like mummies. But she only knows mummies through the context of like Scooby-Doo like cartoons. And so now I'm talking to her about like just the difference between like fictionalized.
Oh, you're having the mummy talk.
We're having the mummy talk. Every parent knows what I'm talking about. Like fictionalized monster mummies versus like, well, no, like that's actually a thing that existed in real life. Same with werewolves. The difference between fictional werewolves and real ones.
If you had to, be a werewolf or a vampire.
Vampire.
Okay. No one would want to be a werewolf?
Well, the vampire.
Vampire, you don't ever get to go out during the day. Werewolf, you can.
The whole conceit about werewolves is that it's a curse that you have to endure. Chain me up into the basement so I don't accidentally hurt someone when the moon is full. Whereas vampires are like empowered. It's badass.
It depends on the lore for werewolves because there are certain narratives that tell you that you can have some level of control. So full moon or not, you can decide when to turn, but it just seems really hairy.
Let me just say this: a werewolf. That's pretty good. I'm just going to pause for that. A werewolf doesn't have to kill people, but vampires have to kill people.
Or just don't. You could just suck a certain amount of blood, not a lethal amount.
You would have to set up a pretty extreme arrangement to get by at a blood bank.
There's so many shows and comics and whatever that are like a vampire and their significant other.
Yeah.
And they have that kind of arrangement.
What?
Think about who the cool ones are and what we do in the shadows.
I still need to watch that.
That's forever young, kind of. Forever old.
Yeah, you definitely have infinite life.
Well, until
good
until
cheat code.
someone brings some garlic and a steak around.
No, that's just uncomfortable. It'll kill you.
The steak will kill you.
Steak will kill you.
It's the steak that kills you.
Do you like doing that in real life?
Doing what?
Like, do you bust out like Halloween decorations?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
So I love Halloween. It's my wife's favorite holiday.
Yeah.
It's definitely my favorite holiday.
It's
love
like,
Halloween.
I like the digital version.
It's just
I
not
like
even close. There's not even contenders.
that-
What's your favorite holiday?
Well, Christmas.
Okay.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
These are all.
Halloween.
good choices.
Yeah, I can't.
I love Halloween.
Cool.
Wait, you like Halloween, but you don't like spooky things?
I said Thanksgiving.
No, but you said you like Halloween.
Thanksgiving.
That's how it started.
I like that. This is the most like, old man thing, but like the changing of the seasons and the bringing out the decorations,
Yeah,
and then they're
yes.
only up for a month, and then they go back in the box.
Yes.
And then like now we have books that only come out on Halloween. Now that I have a family.
Yeah.
Like, you watch I don't watch horror movies, but like
You watch
Christmas
The Great
movies
Pumpkin,
every
Charlie
year.
Brown.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a black cat, so it makes it really easy this time of year to get away with a lot of great.
You bring out the black cat.
I've put him inside a pumpkin before.
Yeah. That's pretty
He
Halloween.
didn't like it.
We're carving our pumpkin this weekend. It's great. I like the rituals.
Yeah, I do too. All right, well, I can tell Justin's getting a little spooked out. So let's momentarily step away from some of the spooky talk.
Nice.
This is, of course, Maniac Mansion. This is Nick Troop from Spokane, Washington. Spokane, Washington. It says, last week you discussed snacking while gaming. Tina, we talked about snacking while gaming. We just talked about what snacks we like to snack on while we game. It reminded me of a feature in games I've always struggled with. While some games have had this feature built in, many have not. I'd love to get your opinion on it. Is making the use of the L button as an alternative A button during dialogue scenes. The best times to grab a snack from my bowl or take a drink of my beer is during cutscenes or dialogue in story-heavy adventure or RPG. But nothing is worse than reaching the end of a scene, needing to press A, but me mid-sip of that hazy IPA. Sure, you can do the awkward reach across with your left hand to press A, but tapping the shoulder button Much more convenient when you only have one hand available. Some Pokemon games, I believe, even have this as a setting to turn on and off. Is this a feature you'd like to see more implemented, or does it not make a difference?
It's the world's laziest person. I really like it.
I love it. I think it's a great idea.
Wait, well, how is it hard to just reach and go like A button and then go back to it?
No.
The trigger.
No. So your right hand now is reaching for the snack. Controller's still in your hand, and if you could just tap the L button to cycle through the dialogue, you can keep shoveling whatever in your face. You do that
Maybe
all
the
day
whole
long.
game should just be playable with one hand, and then you don't even ever need to then stop snacking.
Now you're on
Thought about
something.
taking the controller and turning it around and then just hitting the A button with your one hand?
That seems like...
I'm with Sam on this one.
Yeah. Could you
Use your
eat
left
with your
hand.
left hand?
Yes, you could use your left hand to hit the L button.
No, snack.
Keep on
snack with your left
slack
hand.
with your left hand.
That's totally
Drink the hazy
absurd.
egg.
Did chips
IPA
keep
with your
poking
left
you in the
hand.
eye? You just
How
can't
would
get
you
it right?
ever find your mouth with your left hand?
No, don't know until you try.
I don't know. I feel like you guys are not taking Nick's suggestions seriously.
Eamon, I feel like sometimes when questions come up like this, you have the strongest opinion on them, and I just want to know where this is going.
I mean, genuinely.
It's already gone there. We've reached you. This is where it went.
We're at the
If I'm trying to
destination.
power through the game, I will just power E and then play.
I do the same thing. I'll go in the kitchen and just make something like, substantial, and then just like, get it in there,
Yeah.
and then just go
10
sit down.
minutes max.
And like, you got to remember, there's a cat on me while I'm playing.
Yeah.
And that cat, if you move in the slightest bit, they will not only leave, but never come back.
Yeah.
The greatest shame is to do
My cat loses her mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You moved?
Yeah. Out of all the things you could be doing right now.
I've been playing with my PS4 controller up here, so she can sleep on my chest like this.
Yeah.
But I'm not, because if I'm here,
You turn
sometimes
over
it
the
barely
controller.
touches. Yeah.
So
the
do you
cat
eat
room.
when you're eating your sad kitchen dinner? Are you eating it over the sink? Are you standing over the sink while you're eating it?
No, I eat.
There's nothing sad about it. It's a
cower
fast
at the
dinner.
table.
I am a big proponent of efficiently eating a meal over the kitchen sink. There's nothing sad about it. I love it.
What about making
Get things done.
Do you put it? Do
making
you
the
eat it
meal?
directly out of the pan?
Yes. Yeah, you make
Maybe.
it in the pan and or the saucepan or whatever, and then you eat it out of it.
You actually just
Sure.
shovel it.
Or
Whatever it is.
Or here's a healthy version.
You don't have to dirty a plate.
You make your
great.
salad in the big salad bowl and you mix it all up and then you just eat it.
Jeez. Now we're M-rated.
You put it in the salad bowl so you can get it all at once.
Yeah, just pour your beer over the salad.
Yeah, exactly.
Blend the whole thing up.
The bottom of the salad is the best part.
That's true.
That's
Put it in
true.
a blender. Put it in a smoothie. You get a straw in there, then you can game and have your snack.
That's true.
There you go. That's the solution
That's
is
the
liquid drinks for all your meals.
Do we
Or
just
an
invent
IV,
Soylent?
really?
Yeah, an IV.
Yeah, IV drip.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But have a parent put it in.
Nick also says, I have a 20 questions game suggestion, though it may be too obscure. And
I love
indeed,
these.
I believe it is.
All right, is it from before 2000?
I don't even know. I don't know. It was Wet Tricks for Nintendo 64.
That was the Tetris, wasn't it? Like a weird.
Probably,
Does
but
it have an X on the end?
yeah. Wet
See,
Tricks.
It's not Wet Tris, it's Wet Tricks. All
But
right,
I-
looking it up, see what score we gave it.
Well, yeah.
Please continue.
For 10 out of 10.
Did Pear review it?
I've seen that game.
All right, moving on. This is okay.
name of it.
Next letter goes, greetings and spooky salutations to Camp Goose. My name is David, pronounced David, and I am a resident of sunny Los Angeles,
Wait, why didn't you
California.
pronounce it Davi?
I'm just reading.
How did this camper know that we were doing Camp Goose?
I've learned much from you in the short time that I've been listening to you all, possibly 6 months, and I want to provide a heartwarming thank you to all who work as part of the Game Scoop crew. Before listening to Game Scoop, I had
Thank you
no-
to everyone behind the camera, by the way.
Actually, let's bring them all out.
the dozens
let's bring
of
everyone
people.
out here.
Come on, everybody.
Come on, you guys. Come on. Oh,
They're
they're
shy. They're not going to do it. Hold on. I'm really sorry to
Wet
interrupt,
Tricks.
but you never answered how he knew this was Camp Goose.
Look, I don't have any more information than I'm sharing with
Okay.
you.
And also Wet Tricks, we gave a 8.4 too.
That's great.
All right.
Yeah.
The conclusion is Wet Tricks is another high quality puzzle game that can proudly stand next to its N64 competition,
Probably.
Tetrasphere, and Bust and Move. The camera and control problems and the slightly flawed multiplayer mode knock it down in our final rating. But if you're looking for another game that you can just pop in and play anytime, this is it.
I'm looking for a game I can just pop in and play anytime. You know?
He also calls out the low sales price, and the reviewer is Herr Schneider.
Whoa.
As somebody just called him in the Facebook fan group for Game Scoop, the boss.
That's true.
Did you guys see that conversation?
No.
And people were like, "Who's the actual boss at IGN that's on Game Scoop?" And I was like, "It's Tina." And then
Who's the boss?
And then they said, "But Pear's the boss." Somebody commented that Pear's the boss.
That's true.
Man, next time I'm looking for some games I can just pop in and play anytime. I got to hit pair up. Anyway, David continues, before listening to Game Spook, I had no real intention of buying a Nintendo Switch, since I already have a PS4 Pro. But after hearing your praise of the system, I recently picked up a Switch Lite. It's ideal for me because I work an odd schedule, 10 to 7, as a therapist for homeless youth. I usually play games in the car, while parked, of course, as the traffic dies down. Remember, he's in LA. I've been playing many of the games you all have suggested, such as Bloodstained, Link's Awakening, Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, and Hollow Knight.
Wow.
Are there other single-player games you all would suggest on the Switch, besides the one I have stated above? I like Metroidvanias, action RPGs, action-adventure games. Please let me know your thoughts and keep up the good work.
Those are good selections already.
Yeah.
I mean, he's played those already.
Yeah.
Now he wants more.
About Super Giant.
Like Bastion and Transistor.
Man, Transistor was so good.
Actually,
That game did not get its due.
Okay, yeah. Bastion was a much more bigger deal than Transistor, but I probably prefer Transistor.
Same.
I don't like those games. So Daniel, if you're with me on this, just avoid them.
Okay. Well, what game do you suggest then?
Is Spelunky on Switch?
No.
Nobody knows.
Well, then I can't suggest
It's the
that.
greatest crime of the modern era.
Underrated Metroidvania is Gato Roboto. It's very cute.
fairly new
It's
one.
got sort of a monochromatic Game Boy aesthetic, and you play as a little cat that gets in a mech, and then he powers up and goes through Metroid-like environments. It's probably about 3 hours long, but it's also fairly cheap, and I liked it.
Cool. So I'm going to go with Yoku's Island Express.
There you go.
Fun.
It's a really cute game where you're a dung beetle and you roll
You a dung beetle or just a beetle?
you're a dung beetle because you roll a dung ball around.
I don't think it's dung.
It absolutely is.
Okay, proceed.
All right. Yeah. And the ball is kind of occasionally thrown into an area where it's dragging you around and you flip pinball flippers in it. But it's like a really cool, beautiful game with an island that you have to explore. And it's absolutely a Metroid-like. We don't use the word Metroidvania on this show.
I would recommend Dead Cells. That's on Switch if you haven't played already on your PS4 Pro. Mark of the Ninja Remastered is
Oh,
on
dude,
Switch.
I've always wanted to play that game.
That's an awesome 2D stealth game.
Played
It's on Switch?
Yeah.
Not on Switch, but yeah.
Yeah.
But it is on Switch. It's great.
It's your
Oh, and then the SteamWorld games, SteamWorld Dig 1 and 2, are
so
both
great.
amazing
And those are on Switch
Metroidvania
now,
games.
huh?
Yeah.
2 is fantastic.
Actually, I think you can get the first one on sale for like $3 on Switch now.
Is it?
What about the Messenger?
There's also the Messenger. You're right. Yeah, that's another. Also kind of Metroidvania where you're a ninja.
SteamWorld Dig 1 and 2 were so good, and I was not as wild about that team's next game, which is SteamWorld Quest, which is more of like a traditional RPG.
Also a card game.
But selfishly, the fact that Quest, in my mind, didn't seem to like do quite as well, I'm like, maybe we're gonna get Dig 3. Like, maybe they're gonna have to return.
I'm
to
sure
the well.
they're. Yeah, I'm sure they're.
So hopefully,
They also did Heist.
I never played it, but that's a it's a
It's a good one.
game.
Yeah, turn-based strategy.
Here's one. Super Metroid.
Super
Didn't play
Metroid.
it.
Yeah.
It's on your Switch now.
Link to the Past.
Doesn't get any better than that.
I mean, yeah, that's true. Is that?
Yeah, Link to the Past is on there too.
And then we mentioned Limbo earlier in the show. I would recommend Inside if you haven't played that yet. That's on Switch.
Yeah.
An incredible game.
Yeah, Limbo's, I'm not as big of a fan of it as other people, but I like it. And I think I recommend getting all the collectibles in that game.
In Limbo or Inside?
Yeah, it's fun to get it in Limbo. Or no, in Inside.
in Inside.
It's confusing me now. Yes, yeah, you can get it all. And then another game you get all the collectibles in that's really fun is Oxenfree. It is a good good dialogue and stuff like that for like just to being, again, like you explore an island. And I always like that in a game. It's totally spooky.
That's the limit of how spooky I'm willing to get with my game. I'm like, this is.
Now we know.
I'm like the spook meter was like climbing,
Right.
and then I'm like, if this gets much higher,
Yeah.
but then it's fine.
That reminded me of Gone Home. That's like a really good spooky game to play. And it really, really had me going for a while because I didn't want anything bad to happen to
That's a really good one.
characters. And like that, I really connected me to them that
That's a good one.
The spookies are all in your head, it turns out.
Yeah,
Well,
I wasn't going to go that
spoilers,
far.
jeez.
Well, sort of.
That is a really good
I
one.
mean,
Best
in
movies are
just
all in your head.
It's assumed.
All right, let's move on. This is Clark from Cleveland. Clarkland. It says, thank you for the amazing show every week. I watch the show every Saturday morning while making and enjoying breakfast. I was recently listening to an older NVC episode. People were discussing the 3 pillars strategy by Nintendo. Yeah. This has been used by Nintendo a couple of times I can think of, once for the original DS and again for the Wii U. Now with the Switch, we seem to be down to just 1 pillar. Do you think Nintendo will ever have another dedicated handheld? I realize that they have the Switch Lites, but the only problem is the games for that system are not always designed for the smaller screen. I bought my mother a Switch and the game My Time at Portia. She was a huge Animal Crossing. Portia?
I say Portia. Yep. I actually don't know which it actually.
She was a huge Animal Crossing and Fantasy Life fan on 3DS, but she doesn't like playing games on the TV, can't read any of the text in My Time at Portia in handheld mode. Problems like this have me wondering if we will ever get another dedicated handheld again. Thanks.
The Switch Lite's kind of a dedicated handheld.
But that's what he said. He mentioned that.
I'm just saying, like, if they're they just doubled down on that.
But we still have the problem. It's not. The text can still be a problem.
And the point, his core point of like the Switch is such a success for Nintendo. It's sent them to these new heights, but it does put them in this tight spot where like it's harder for them to do a new 3DS or new Game Boy now that the Switch is already so portable friendly. It's like, well, where do they go from there with their handheld game line, which was like $1 billion business.
But I want to point out that text size being too small isn't a problem just on handhelds. It's a problem on your TV that I don't understand.
How does this happen still in 2019?
It was a problem moving over into the Xbox 360 generation. The text was like really small on the screen. But how is it still happening today?
I have like a special chair I drag in front of my television from another room so I can just sit there and veg out and play a game right in front of the screen. I have a big TV.
I'm really worried I really want to play Disco Elysium, which is this really text-heavy RPG.
Yeah.
But my gaming PC is hooked up to my television, which is fine for like shooters and stuff. But I'm really worried about like basically like reading a novel in that form, like versus a gaming monitor. And the case of, I'm going to keep saying Portia. My Time at Portia is a PC port, right? So it's like
PC Portia?
Yeah. Maybe they just didn't optimize the text for the Switch, but like I wouldn't be like Stardew Valley is fine on the Switch, and like I have to imagine that Animal Crossing will be in terms of like font size and stuff like that.
Do developers not, when they're working on their game, do they never just like put it in like on a regular TV and then sit on a couch and play it? I don't understand. I mean,
well, and I totally think you're right.
Like
I think it's a bias of like how they're experiencing the game in the 4 years they develop it is on a monitor.
On a computer monitor that's like really close to
I think they don't want to cover their art. I mean, I think that's why you have all these options now to turn it off entirely. There's so many games that have that mode.
Game Maker's Toolkit did a really, really good video essay on accessibility in games. It's a series of essays, and my favorite one, one of the more interesting ones was about subtitles and like how they can be good or bad, and like giving people the option to like change their contrast or like put, a black bar behind it so they're even more readable, and, be able to customize their size. And there's lots of things that developers can do.
And speaking of, I want to point out that the Nintendo Switch has a zoom function that you can enable from the system menu. And then while you're playing a game, if you double tap the home button, I believe, it'll go into zoom mode and freezes all other functions. So you can actually zoom around the screen and then zoom into a section of it. And then when you zoom out, it will remember where you zoomed in. So if you're playing a game where the text is hard to read in the same place every time, at least that's an option.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's pro tip.
It's a good accessibility
thing. I'm addicted. We have to have subtitles on whenever we watch anything now in television.
Just anything?
Yeah.
Wow.
I can't watch anything without subtitles
Except for,
on.
like comedy specials because it ruins their jokes.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Subtitles are like little spoilers every second.
Yeah.
There's shows that have funny dialogue that I wouldn't want subtitles for.
I think it started, we were watching like some British show, and so we turned on the subtitles because, the accent, like we didn't want to miss anything, and then we just got hooked on having them on for everything.
Yep, it's quite addictive.
Game of Thrones names and stuff, I know people really like that.
You pick up so much more with Game of Thrones.
Even just spelling of names.
I'm not pro subtitle, but I watch TV all the time with people that need subtitles on. That's fine. So back to this. I think if there's the little element of this question was like, is Nintendo ever going to make it?
We got way off base.
I don't think anybody is going. I think it's more likely that consoles are going away than handhelds, because this is something I should be able to set in front of my TV and not do anything else with.
Sam's holding his phone.
Yeah, I'm holding my phone. And something this big or smaller, or that should do all the processing and just make that be my console. Like the Switch is getting really close to that. It's cool that has the cradle and that's your all-in-one console. But there's just the future is going to be either cloud processing, which I don't believe in because of the internet connections in the world, or local, your processor for all the things you're going to do is going to be really small. So what's that going to look like? Is it going to be embedded in your body? Is it going to be the size of your phone? Is it going to be in a watch type thing?
Embedded in your body is kind of spooky.
Yeah, I know. Never embed computers in your body. That is the theme of like 11 out of 15 Black Mirrors.
But Cyberpunk
That's
is so
the
cool.
only moral out of like the vast majority of Black Mirrors is don't put stuff in your mind that you can't take out or under your skin. Just don't do that.
Yeah.
The things like smartphones and tablets make handheld gaming a tougher proposition going forward. Like you can get an iPad for $300 that is only marginally less powerful than your laptop is, and it's got a huge, beautiful high-res screen that plays really good games. And now, in the case of iOS,
controllers.
At least you can easily with one button pair a Bluetooth controller to it. It's hard to envision a future where Nintendo is releasing a $300 dedicated handheld console that's a successor to the DS or something of that nature.
This is from Andrew. Says, I've been listening to the show for several years now, but I've been making my way through older episodes to relive all the Scoopy goodness. Let's look back to April 3rd, 2014.
Oh, boy.
Who could forget?
Episode 299, the 37-minute, 47-second mark for everyone following along at home. You got the question, what games do you most regret not playing, knowing now that you'll probably never go back to play? For reference, here's everyone's answer. Justin Davis said Super Nintendo RPGs, Final Fantasy VI, and Chrono Trigger. Greg Miller said Half-Life 2. Dan Stapleton said Witcher 1 and 2. And the KC Kid, Damon Hadfield, said Mario Galaxy 2. I've still never played it. It's true. Ooh. We all inevitably end up with a back catalog of games that for whatever reason we haven't had a chance to play. I can't believe we've been doing the show together for that long.
Longer than
That's
that.
crazy.
With PS5 and Xbox Scarlet on the horizon, I'm finding myself scrambling to blow off the dust on my untouched games, knock them out before the next generation is here. I'm sure I will still play some of these post PS5, but with the sheer number of games coming out these days, makes it harder and harder to find the time to go back. So to slightly tweak an older question, my question for you is this: what games do you most regret not having played from this generation, knowing you probably never will? For me, Andrew, the answer is Horizon Zero Dawn. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, more so than like not playing a game. There's a million games that I got like 8 hours in and then got pulled away and never went back to. Like Horizon, I played quite a bit of, and I'm like, now I'm stuck in that no man's land of like, I don't really want to start over, but I can't. It's been too long to pick it back up.
Yeah, I think that's been mostly my experience. There's nothing that like I really wanted to play that I just didn't get around to playing. But there's plenty of games that, like Horizon Zero Dawn, that I put a lot of time into but never finished, and now I probably won't go back to. The Witcher 3 is also the same for me.
Yeah, I usually feel this like urgency to play a game that I'm interested in immediately because we rapid fire have to move on to so many other games. But for me, it was No Man's Sky because it was in this weird stage where it just wasn't good, and people kept criticizing it to the degree of like, oh, I don't want to play that then if this is the conversation around it, even though I was looking forward to it up until that point. So now that it's apparently been tweaked to a degree where
Yep.
Feels like I'm too far gone.
You can just
getting into Destiny 2
Yeah.
and haven't played from the beginning.
I think No Man's Sky was perfect from the start, and now it's been ruined.
Whoa, hot take.
I really liked it. It was a great relaxing.
How is it worse now?
Because there's too much to do, and it's
That's
just
exactly everyone's there wasn't enough.
yeah, I liked it as like a relaxing, like this is an interesting piece of art game. Now it's like a video game.
Okay.
Sure. Any PC RPG I've missed. So
Any
everybody, like there's people on our
Divinity
staff that
Original
think Divinity
Sin.
is the best game ever made. You know, and I hear that all the time. Like I'm just not going to play that for a lot of the reasons we were just talking about. Like PC on my television isn't practical. Don't have a desk at home with the PC on it.
Divinity Original Sin 2 is on Switch now.
It is on Switch and it's on other things. So like those are the things though that now it's like I have no one to talk to about it, and it's kind of past.
You can pick up like Planescape Torment. Like all Beamdog is now re-releasing those old Infinity. I almost call it Infinity Engine. Is that what they were called? Those old isometric RPGs like Baldur's Gate. They're all back and contemporary on consoles and stuff now.
Yeah.
I don't miss. I know I haven't brought it up on this show before, but I'm a father. I have kids.
Oh wow.
So, but like I've had to let go. Like I'm 5 years into this whole adventure now, and I had a lot of anxiety in that first year about the games I was missing and the movies I was missing. But as time passes, I'm like, you're gonna drive yourself insane if you try to live your life that way. And I've just kind of accepted that, like, my free time is a lot more limited and I have to be a lot more guarded with it now. And just, there's a huge swath of entertainment that I'm just never going to catch up on. It's just gone.
For me, I get envious of the games that people really like on our staff, especially in people that I interact with a lot, like the Souls games or Bloodborne, that like I can't get into, and I really want to. Like I give them a fair shake every time, and I just hate them. And I really, really think they're good games, and like people love them to death. And I'm like, I just bummed out that like I can't like have or Monster Hunter, I can't have an 80-hour game that I can just get lost in.
Yeah,
that's why I tried to play Witcher 3 times.
Well, now's your time to try it again.
Nah.
I feel bad I didn't play it.
Geralt's movements.
Exactly.
Well,
yeah.
That I'm sure you'll play for Game of the Year consideration.
I just read 8 Witcher books, and I want to die.
You really read 8? Is that all of them?
Please let that be all of them.
And that brings us to Video Game 20 Questions.
We're playing 20 questions, too?
Yeah, what are you talking about? Why would we not play 20 questions?
I thought this took the place of it.
That's ridiculous.
From here on out. You get to vote.
Our suggestion this week comes from Adolf Vega, our favorite listener that sounds like a video game boss.
Yeah, sure.
Let the questioning begin.
Is this a spooky game?
Yes.
Oh, who knew now?
Well, I wanted to be sure.
Someone in the comments mentioned they really like when we ask if it's a multiplayer game. So is it a multiplayer game?
What do you mean by a multiplayer game?
Is there multiplayer in the game?
There's a multiplayer mode.
So,
How?
like Apex Legends.
What?
Or
What
like
would be a
Resident
situation in which you wouldn't know how to answer that question?
Apex Legends.
Like, is Super Mario Brothers a multiplayer game?
Yes.
Okay, it's a multiplayer game.
Is it Superman?
Jamin,
Do it.
did this come out before the year 2000?
No.
Is it current gen?
No.
Is it on the gen right before that?
Kind of. That's 5.
Okay.
Is it?
So somewhere between the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One. Is this a Wii U game?
No.
Ah, that would have been a funny cheat.
Is this a zombie game?
No.
Did this appear on a Nintendo platform?
Yes.
Are there RPG elements?
I don't think so.
Is this a ghost game? Are there ghosts?
There sure are. That's 10.
It's on Switch?
You're asking if it's on Switch?
No,
It's a current gen.
I know, but like he said
No.
maybe-ish, and I was thinking like
that was the
3DS.
previous gen.
I don't think we're paying enough attention to this not being a zombie game, but yes, being a ghost game.
Okay. Sure.
Doesn't help me because I don't play the spookies.
Is this made is this a Nintendo published game?
Yes.
Is Luigi in it?
Wait.
Yes.
Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, totally.
Which one? I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's either Dark Moon is on 3DS, which I feel like I've already gotten shot down as saying that could be what it is.
Why?
Why?
Because you guys were arguing with me about if I could ask if it was a Switch game or not.
I don't understand.
Well, that's what matters now. Is it a Switch game or a 3DS game? Right? Also, I was trying to think. I mean,
Was this game originally released on the GameCube?
No.
there is a port of this on of Luigi's Mansion on Switch now. No, on 3DS now. I don't know. Is this a Switch game?
No.
Okay.
It's got to be Luigi's
Is this
Mansion
Luigi's
2.
Mansion 2 Dark Moon?
Yes. That is 15. You did not
one.
get to hear. Actually, Adolf did suggest another one. I don't remember what it was.
Okay.
We got
So,
there.
there you go. Well, that brings us to the end of another Game Spook episode. We got to put all the fun props and costumes away for another year. The hardest part of all this is saying goodbye to Ricardo O'Skeleton.
I
For a whole
guarantee
year.
you, in this office, the way things work here, we will never see that skeleton again.
Or it's
Where's-
just going to be up permanently.
Yeah, it's going to be permanent.
And those are the two options.
Yep.
Yeah. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Game Spook. Please look forward to the Snow Mega Cops coming to a podcast near you this December. They'll be playing some, reindeer game scoops.
Yeah, reindeer game scoops.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, everybody have fun playing video games this weekend. Thank you. What is it? Thank you, Mr. Gravis. Thank you, Dam. Thank you, Tina Amini DeVille. My name is Demon Hayfield. This is Ricardo O'Skeleton. And we're out.
He dances really good.
Yeah.